So who are we? We are the life force power of the universe, with manual dexterity and 2 cognitive minds. And we have the power to choose, moment by moment, who and how we want to be in the world. Right here, right now, I can step into the consciousness of my right hemisphere, where I am, the life force power of the universe, and the life force power of the 50 trillion beautiful molecular geniuses that make up my form, at one with all that is. Or I can choose to step into the consciousness of my left hemisphere, where I become a single individual, a solid, separate from the flow, separate from you. I am Dr. Jill Balty Taylor, intellectual, neuroanatomist. These are the we inside of me. I believe that the more time we spend choosing to run the deep inner peace circuitry of our right hemispheres, the more peace we will project into the world, and the more peaceful our planet will be. If you can control the stories, you don't need to have soldiers on the street corners to control them. You can control people in their own heads and their own imaginations. On the one hand, it's really depressing because it's like, how do you then get out of it? Because there's no way you can have control of the media. There's no way you can compete with these stories that are told thousands of times a day. Through advertising, through programming, through newspapers, through the internet now, through video games, through all kinds of ways. But at the same time, the reason I'm hopeful, the reason that actually gives me some optimism, is that capitalism has to do that. That unless it does that, they know that things will fall apart. So capitalism in that sense is like a house of cards that has to be constantly held together. We have to be told every single day what this story is. And they have to do it every day because it's unnatural. If it was natural, they wouldn't have to do it. And if they stop, they know that in fact it would fall apart. That actually is the great hope for me, is in fact the amount of time they have to spend convincing us about the value of the society is in fact what gives me hope that there's an alternative, just below the surface. And that alternative is much more human, much more compassionate, and it's much more connected to concern for other people. It's much more connected to concern for the planet, and that it's being held down by this incredible and relentless propaganda system. Do you have a family on K-Pax? It doesn't work on K-Pax the same way it works here, Mark. On K-Pax, we don't have families in the way that you think of them. In fact, a family would be a non sequitur on our planet, as it would on most others. In other words, you never knew your parents. On K-Pax, children are not raised by their biological parents, Mark, but by everyone. They circulate among us, learning from one and then another. Do you have a child? No. Do you have a wife waiting for you back on K-Pax? Mark. You are not really listening to what I am saying to you, are you? We do not have marriage on K-Pax. There are no wives, there are no husbands, there are no families. I see. So, what about societal structure? Government? No, there's no need for one. You have no laws, no lawyers. How do you know right from wrong? Every being in the universe knows right from wrong, Mark. But what if someone did do something wrong? Committed murder or rape? How would you punish them? Let me tell you something, Mark. You humans, most of you, subscribe to this policy of an eye for an eye, a life for a life, which is known throughout the universe for its stupidity. Even your Buddha and your Christ had quite a different vision, but nobody's paid much attention to them, not even the Buddhists or the Christians. You humans. Sometimes it's hard to imagine how you've made it this far.